Buzz Aldrin is one of the strongest astronauts the world has ever seen. But when things get really serious, even the strongest men break down. That's exactly what's happened. Aldrin has just revealed something terrifying. Aliens are coming to Earth. His statements aren't just for right now, but are stemming from his experience as a part of the Apollo 11 missions and the stories he's been hiding this whole time. On July 16, 1969, the launch of Apollo 11 from Kennedy Space Center drew in the whole world, marking the historic journey of humanity's first mission to the moon. Buzz Aldrin was one of the mission's key astronauts and played an integral role. As the spacecraft soared into the skies, Aldrin's expertise and presence were pivotal, not just for the launch itself, but the entire mission that came after. During the crucial phase of the lunar module's descent to the moon on July 20th, Buzz Aldrin played a pivotal role alongside Neil Armstrong. As they transitioned from the command module to the lunar module, named Eagle, Aldrin's expertise became instrumental in guiding the craft towards the lunar surface. When unexpected computer alarms disrupted the automated descent, Aldrin provided crucial navigation guidance to Armstrong, enabling them to manually steer the Eagle. In an adrenaline-fueled race against dwindling fuel reserves, Armstrong skillfully piloted the craft under Aldrin's guidance to a precise and successful landing at the Sea of Tranquility. Aldrin's calm and decisive actions during this critical phase were one of the biggest reasons why they were even able to land on the moon in the first place. And while they were there, they saw a lot. After Neil Armstrong made history by being the first person to step onto the lunar surface, Buzz Aldrin followed as the second astronaut to walk on the moon during the Apollo 11 mission. When Aldrin exited the lunar module onto the moon's surface, he took in the extraordinary sight around him. Speaking of which, if you've ever wanted to see the moon up close in your own room, check out the link in our description. Aldrin described the whole site as a magnificent desolation to convey the contrasting feelings he experienced. The view was magnificent in its vastness and unique appearance, but it was also desolate, lacking the familiar signs of life or activity that one would find on Earth. What we saw on Earth was amazing, but what they saw was totally different. Everything felt totally unique on the moon. Setting up the lunar flag assembly was a little challenging for Aldrin and Armstrong. They encountered difficulties in securely planting the flag due to the unfamiliar lunar surface and the nature of the equipment. Even then, the astronauts persisted and ultimately succeeded in securing the American flag. Humans had finally claimed the moon, but could it already be claimed by someone else? Or maybe something else? You see, the men on the moon had particular tasks they had to get done. During their time on the lunar surface, Aldrin and Armstrong were involved in several important tasks essential to the mission's scientific objectives. One crucial task was deploying scientific instruments and equipment to conduct experiments and gather data about the moon's environment. With that, they collected samples of lunar soil and rock to bring back to Earth for scientific study. Until this point, we knew nothing about the moon, and this was the first time we could get first-hand knowledge. Aldrin performed a significant operation by using a specialized tool to hammer a metal tube into the lunar surface, extracting a core sample of the moon's soil. This core sample was a vital piece of scientific evidence, providing valuable information about the composition and geological makeup of the lunar surface. While this was going on, Armstrong, with a camera, documented their activities by taking photographs that would serve as visual records of their exploration and discoveries. But there are some discoveries they didn't really talk about at the time. Aldrin recounted an intriguing observation he made during the Apollo 11 mission while en route to the moon. He described seeing a light outside the spacecraft that appeared to be moving alongside them. This wasn't something they were expecting to see, but at the same time, can you even expect anything when you're one of the first men out there? These were no ordinary men, though. They were trained astronauts, experts in science. So they did what any other scientist would do. They tried to figure out what the light could be. To him, it was a UFO, an unidentified light that he needed to learn more about while also discovering the moon itself. He and the crew considered several possible explanations for this light. One of these explanations involved parts of their own spacecraft, particularly components that separated during specific maneuvers. When the lunar lander was extracted from the rocket, it involved the separation of various panels or sections from the spacecraft. These panels were designed to move away from their craft to ensure a safe extraction process. At certain points during the mission, these panels might have remained relatively close to the main spacecraft or appeared to move alongside it due to their proximity and trajectory. So Aldrin thought that the light they observed might have been sunlight reflecting off one of these panels that had separated from their craft. Since these panels were in close proximity and moving away from their spacecraft, the reflection of the sun off one of these surfaces could have created the light Aldrin saw. However, because they couldn't definitively determine which specific panel was reflecting the sunlight, the object remained unidentified in the strictest sense. He and the crew thoroughly understood what they had seen and believed they had debriefed and shared this information after their return. Years later, during an interview with a foreign television network, Aldrin revealed these observations, assuming that the information had already been made public. But it hadn't. This was the first time the world heard about Aldrin seeing a UFO in space. The word was everywhere. Aliens are coming to Earth! Aliens were on the moon! But that's where things get complicated. Buzz acknowledged the high likelihood of life existing beyond Earth, mainly because of the vast number of galaxies and stars in the universe. With billions of galaxies and an incredible number of stars within each, the statistical probability suggests that conditions for life, as we understand it, might exist elsewhere. At the same time, however, he was also cautious in interpreting the observations made during the Apollo 11 mission. The observation of an unidentified light or object was an unusual occurrence. He didn't deny it, but he also didn't consider it to be extraordinary or definitive proof of extraterrestrial life. While the possibility of life in the universe beyond Earth is plausible, given the sheer scale of the cosmos, this isolated observation wasn't sufficient to conclusively confirm the existence of alien life. He referenced Carl Sagan here. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, but that might just be a clue into what's really going on here. Buzz has said for a few years now that his words about the light and the UFO were taken out of context. He claims that he just said UFO because in his mind, the light was unidentified and moved on once they got to Earth and analyzed the possibilities of what it could have been. That's just how UFO news works, doesn't it? Time and time again, we've heard of stories from different people, all saying that they strongly believe that there's been a UFO sighting, but what happens? The story is deemed to be fake and totally disappears after an official person says that the story was fake, or in cases like this, misinterpreted. Over the years, various theories and speculative ideas have emerged suggesting the presence of aliens or extraterrestrial artifacts on the moon. And a lot of them do make a lot of sense. People have claimed to intercept or observe unusual radio signals or transmissions coming from the moon. These claims have sparked speculation about potential alien communications or technology present on the lunar surface. The far side of the moon, which remains unobservable from Earth because of tidal locking, has fueled speculation about hidden alien bases or structures. The lack of direct observation of this region has led to imaginative theories about secret activities or installations on the lunar far side. If we can't really see it, how can we know what's actually going on there? Some individuals have even proposed the existence of artificial structures or anomalies seen in lunar photographs. These claims suggest the presence of buildings, towers, or constructed objects on the lunar surface. The main theory here is that there are alien colonies on the moon, and they've had to construct their own infrastructure to survive out there. From the Earth, these structures may look like rocks and shadows, but in reality, we just don't know what we're really looking at. But the only people who might really know the truth here are the people who have been on the moon itself, right? So maybe Buzz Aldrin said what he said, not realizing he wasn't supposed to make that information public, and later changed his story to something that would be more acceptable? This would make sense because his explanation has put a lot of theories and questions to rest. But the truth might just be right in front of us, hidden in plain sight, but we've just been told to look away. Are you looking away though? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. We'll see you in the next one.